All right, scholars. So this video is to help you complete your Golden Age Civilizations assessment. This assignment is going to be assigned on Friday, April 17th. And, well, it's going to be assigned, it's going to be posted right away. You're supposed to work on it Friday, April 17th. I'm going to make it due Sunday, April 19th at noon. Okay. So make sure that you are getting all of these research assignments done beforehand. Remember, you're collecting evidence about why classical China would be the most golden civilization, why classical Greece would be considered the most golden civilization, and why classical Rome would be considered the most golden civilization. So this is what your assessment's going to look like. We'll get right into it. First of all, however, you should open up your Golden Age Word Wall digital edition. You're going to need that since you need to be linking everything back to being golden in your reasoning. So open that up. We have that open. Awesome. Let's go back. And again, this is going to be posted April 17th, Golden Age Civilizations Assessment underneath the Golden Age Civilizations Wrap-Up category. Click on that, view the assignment. So scholars, we have reached the end of our Golden Age Civilizations unit. We have worked insanely hard to break down the word golden, and we have been making connections to the word golden almost every day in class and online. Remember, we started this unit before we had to transition to distance learning. I'm very proud of the hard work you all have done in this unit, making those tough connections, and now it's time to wrap up the unit with an argument. I 100% believe that. This was one of our stronger units in social studies. You guys have been working insanely hard to connect everything back to golden. All unit long, we've been working towards that goal of what is and is not golden, and you guys have done a great job with that. So we're answering the question now, which Golden Age civilization that we studied is the most golden of them and why? In your response, you need to include a claim about which civilization is the most golden, a reason explaining 3 different categories that would make the civilization golden. That's what makes this assignment a little bit more different. You need 3 pieces of evidence explaining the advancements the civilization made in each category, and you need a reasoning statement attached to each piece of evidence that shows how the advancement would make the civilization the most golden civilization in the world, or in history, I guess. And then at the end, you need to include a counterclaim conclusion that mentions another civilization that was golden and why, but you need to end by restating your claim and reason in a new form to disprove the counterclaim. So as always, I have already written a model, and we're going to break that down so that you guys understand what I'm looking for. Remember, you are answering the question, which Golden Age civilization is the most golden and why? In my model, I'm writing about how New York City is the most golden city and why. It's still the same exact kind of ideas, but you guys are talking about what is the most golden civilization in history. All right? So in order to get a 4 for your claim, you need to include a clear claim that identifies the most golden of the Golden Age civilizations and why. You can't include the words I, me, or my, and you need to include an analytical reason related to 3 categories of a Golden Age. If you don't mention 3 categories, you can't get full credit here. So I'll show you my example of my claim and reason now. I wrote, the most golden city in the world is New York City. New York City is the most golden city in the world because the city has a large population and has many jobs available for its citizens. That's just one claim and one reason related to jobs, right? I didn't mention any other categories of golden. In order to get full credit, I need to mention 3 categories of a golden age. So I actually provided another sentence that connects to my reason. Additionally, New York City also has buildings that are architectural masterpieces and a bureaucratic government that citizens can trust to solve issues without being overwhelmed. So I already did 3 links. I linked to a strong central government that doesn't get overwhelmed. I linked to there being a high population and many jobs available to that high population. And I talked about how their architectural buildings are masterpieces. All right, so I would get full credit here now because I gave you a claim and reason, and in my reason, I mentioned 3 categories of a golden age. For my evidence now, I need to include 3 pieces of evidence in quotes. If you don't give me quotes, it's not going to be counted as evidence. And there's a reasoning attached to each evidence that clearly explains how the evidence shows a golden age was achieved. Each piece of evidence relates to a different category of a golden age. If you do not mention 3 categories of a golden age, you will not get full credit. So I'm going to go through my evidence very quickly, and we're going to notice how each piece of evidence connects to a different category. So I wrote, one piece of evidence showing that New York City is the most golden city in the world is the city has a population of 8.39 million people with thousands of jobs and colleges available to allow citizens freedom in deciding their futures. All right, that's a piece of evidence I collected from a website. Then I give you my reasoning. This evidence proves New York City is the most golden city in the world because New Yorkers have many career and education opportunities available to them. I restated my evidence there, but I didn't connect it to golden yet. I needed another sentence. This allows citizens freedom to contribute to the city based on their skills and therefore leads to a bustling economy in the Big Apple. Notice how I mentioned that you get jobs based on your skills. If you don't mention job specialization providing opportunities or being based on skills or helping the economy, I won't count that as a connection to golden. And then I give a transition statement. Do you need to give a transition statement? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. So I wrote, New York City also has some of the most beautiful architecture in the world. I'm transitioning to show my reader I'm not talking about job specialization anymore. I'm moving to talk about architecture. Here's my evidence. The New York Public Library in Manhattan was built in 1897 and is modeled after Corinthian styles of ancient Greek architecture. Again, that's evidence that I pulled from a website. This evidence further proves that New York City is the most golden city in the world because it has architecture that celebrates the advancements of the ancient Greeks and also provides a public service in the form of a library. I could stop right there and that would count just enough for my reasoning that I wouldn't have to give another sentence. But I take it a step further just to solidify my connection. New Yorkers have had the unique benefit of this building for hundreds of years, and it will continue to enhance their lives in the future. So when we go back to the word wall, I talk about making advancements in different areas of arts and education, and I specifically talk about benefiting future civilizations. That makes a really strong reasoning connection. Let's go back. I give another transition statement before I go into my third evidence and reasoning. A final piece of evidence supporting that New York City, the city of New York is golden, lies within their government. So again, I'm telling my reader, I'm not talking about jobs anymore. I'm not talking about art and architecture anymore. Now I'm talking about their government. A quote from NewYorkCity.gov states, the bureaucratic government is divided into agencies such as the Parks Department, the Sanitation Department, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and many more. Each department handles their own realm of tasks within the entire government structure. Again, that's just evidence. I give my reasoning now. This evidence deepens the idea that New York City is the most golden city in the world because their government is sensibly organized to solve matters efficiently without being overwhelmed. Did I link it to golden yet? Kind of. I talk about solving issues quickly, but again, I make it stronger with another sentence. Citizens can trust the government like a bureaucracy to make quick decisions regarding their safety. I link it back to the word wall because I'm specifically talking about how the government keeps people safe and makes decisions quickly. All right, let's go back. Now, we have done everything on our rubric for claim and evidence. We would get full credit for claim and evidence, but now we need to talk about our conclusion. All right, we need to give a counterclaim about another civilization that could be golden, but you need to restate at the end your claim and reason in a new form. You need to drop the mic at the end to show everybody, I got the last word. This proves that this civilization is the most golden. So watch how I prove New York City is the most golden city. Starts by saying, some would argue that Chicago, Illinois is the most golden city in the world because their architecture is as advanced as New York City's, and Chicago is home to one of the most renowned art museums in the world. That's absolutely true. If you ask Miss Cotton, she lived in Mrs. Cotton, if you ask her, she lived in Chicago for a while. I've been to Chicago. It's beautiful. They have great architecture. They have one of the greatest art museums in the world. So I'm recognizing that Chicago could be considered the most golden city in the world to some people. Now watch how I then drop the mic on them because I want to get the last word though. I write, however, New York City is the most golden city in the world because not only is it home to beautiful buildings, all right, I'm basically saying we got beautiful buildings just like Chicago has, and now I drop the mic on them. Not only is it home to beautiful buildings, the bureaucratic government works hard to keep people safe, and there are plenty of jobs and learning opportunities as well. I drop the mic because I'm saying it's more golden than Chicago. It provides more than Chicago did. Does Chicago provide those things as well? Maybe they do, but I'm not going to bring that up. I'm going to recognize that, yes, Chicago can be considered golden in some ways, and then I'm going to drop the mic on them. I'm going to say, but New York City is more golden. You should do the same thing in your conclusion. Mention another civilization and a reason why that civilization would be golden. One reason why. And then drop the mic on them by stating your 3 reasons again, but in a new form. Okay? If you only restate your original claim and reason, you'll get a 3 out of 4 here. So again, make sure you're using this rubric. All right, start working on this as soon as possible. If you have questions, there's the Google Meet Friday at 10:30 a.m. We're going to be talking about this assessment and what we're looking for on it. Other than that, send an email to me or Mr. Woods to get the help that you need. All right, remember, keep watching this video over and over again. Have your word wall document open, and make sure you have all your evidence graphic organizers open as well to prove that one civilization is the most golden civilization.